Tony Sirico is not only a talented actor, but also a true legend. His career began back in the 70s, and over the years, he has managed to star in 45 movies and 18 TV shows. However, that's not all that makes the actor so special. Prior to acting, Tony was a gangster and has been arrested as many as 28 times over his life. Yeah, you heard right. Yet you shouldn't think that's all there is to tell about this remarkable man. When Tony Sirico was born in 1942, no one could have imagined that this little boy would grow into a full-fledged man and become one of the most recognizable actors of his time. But his life started out not from paradise. His father was absent, and his mother raised him alone. However, this never stopped him from developing and finding his own way. Young Tony grew up in Bensonhurst, a Brooklyn residential neighborhood in NYC. His life, however, was not easy. According to the actor, he spent most of his growing up in the tough neighborhoods of East Flatbush. As early as the age of 7, this little boy clashed with the law several times, and that was the beginning of his troubled record. But as they say, what doesn't kill you makes you stronger. Tony Sirico's life has been far from ordinary, marked by a tumultuous journey with a staggering 28 arrests throughout his lifetime. His criminal history began at the young age of 7, when he was caught stealing nickels from a newsstand. And from there, he built a formidable reputation in his neighborhood as a stick-up artist. Despite facing numerous brushes with the law, Sirico continued down a path of criminal activity, resulting in 2 separate prison sentences. The first was for an illegal weapons charge, while the second was for armed robbery. In addition to these more serious offenses, he was also frequently apprehended for lesser crimes such as disorderly conduct and robbery. One of the most amazing facts about Tony Sirico's life is that he was shot twice on the same day. That day, he was kissing a girl on the steps of a local church when 3 men suddenly drove up to his car and started shooting. Tony was first shot in the leg and then in the back. When Tony was doing his second term in prison, he observed a group of former inmates called the Theater of the Forgotten, and it was a real eye-opener for him. He realized that acting could be a new path in his life, and he was absolutely right. Tony Sirico's journey to becoming a successful actor was anything but straightforward. He had humble beginnings, but with the help of a photographer friend at the New York Daily News, he was able to break into the world of modeling. From there, he quickly transitioned to small-time acting gigs. In 1974, he made his film debut in Crazy Joe, thanks to his acquaintance with Richard Castellano, who pushed him into the movie industry. But that was only the beginning of his career. One of Sirico's most memorable roles was in Martin Scorsese's Goodfellas, where he played Frankie the Wop Basil, a stylish enforcer who was known for sticking his victims' heads in ovens. Sirico's performance in this film was chillingly convincing, and it was a testament to his acting prowess. In James Toback's The Pickup Artist, Sirico played the role of a casino partner alongside Harvey Keitel. This film showcased Sirico's ability to play a more nuanced character, and his chemistry with Keitel was palpable on screen. Sirico's talent continued to impress in the Coen brothers' Miller's Crossing, where he played Patsy Ketty, a demolition man who delighted in blowing up saloons. His performance in this film was both intense and humorous, and it showed that Sirico was capable of bringing depth to even the most eccentric of characters. He has many memorable roles to his credit, including positive characters. For example, who can forget his outstanding roles in Dead Presidents and Deconstructing Harry, where he excelled as a cop. He made his TV debut back in 1977 in Kojak. He went on to appear in such iconic shows as Police Squad and Miami Vice. But his true glory came with his role as Paulie Gualtieri in The Sopranos. I mean, who doesn't remember this funny and quirky soldier of The Sopranos crime family with his memorable haircut and flamboyant personality? But not many people know that Tony Sirico first auditioned for the role of Uncle Junior, but Dominic Chianese got the part. Nevertheless, he was not reluctant and kept looking for opportunities to showcase his talent. And so David Chase offered him the part of Paulie Gualtieri, and Sirico agreed on one condition, that his character would not become a rat. His other TV projects include Cosby, Gotti, Witness to the Mob, Pretty Weird Parents, Lilyhammer, and Chuck. Tony Sirico's recent work includes his roles in Cafe Society, 2016, and Wonder Wheel, Respect the Jux, and the upcoming film Super Athlete. He also voiced the character Paulie Gualtieri in the video game The Sopranos, The Road to Respect. The game was developed in 2006 and was a unique experience that allowed players to immerse themselves in a world of crime and power struggles alongside their favorite characters from the series. In late 2013, he voiced the character Vinny Griffin on the series Family Guy, who replaced Brian Griffin after his death. Over the course of 3 episodes, Tony Sirico did an excellent job and conveyed the entire unique personality and character of Vinny Griffin, who was the family's pet dog. In addition, Sirico made a cameo in the episode, The Excellent Adventure of Stewie, Chris, and Brian, where he threatened Stewie, who insulted Italians by calling them ridiculous people. In 2018, he reunited with former Sopranos actors Federico Castelluccio and Vincent Pastore in Sarah Q. Let's speak about Tony Sirico's personal life. He has lived with his mother Marie Sirico most of his life and has 2 brothers, Carmine Sirico and the Reverend Robert Sirico, a Catholic priest. Unlike his character from The Sopranos, Tony Sirico was a married man who didn't reveal the identity of his spouse. He respected his family's private life and preferred not to discuss it in interviews in public. Tony Sirico had a daughter named Joanna Sirico and a son named Richard Sirico. He had always been a devoted father and had always made time for his family despite his busy schedule and career success. Now I invite you to talk about the extraordinary story of Paulie Gualtieri. Born in 1942 to an Italian family in Newark, New Jersey, he was a troubled street kid who dropped out of school after his first year and spent time in juvenile detention facilities. Paulie began his career as a soldier and bodyguard for Johnny Soprano and later became a key member of Tony Soprano's crew. He earned the nickname Paulie Walnuts for hijacking a walnut truck, mistakenly believing it contained TV sets. In the early 90s, he committed to the DeMio crime family and adhered to the old Mafia customs. However, his life was filled with bloody events and intrigues. Together with Christopher Moltisanti, he participated in the short and bloody war between the Sopranos and Junior Soprano in 1999 and executed Mikey Palmisi in the woods. In 2000, Gualtieri, Soprano, and Silvio Dante were forced to execute their old friend Pussy for being an FBI informant. But Paulie's life was not without personal problems. He was single and had no children, and his relationship with Christopher Moltisanti was often strained by irregular payments. Another incident that left a mark on Paulie's life occurred in the episode Pine Barrens, and that was also when Gualtieri sniffed the panties of Moltisanti's fiancée. Gualtieri was arrested in Youngstown on weapons charges, causing his reputation and credibility to be undermined in the eyes of Tony Soprano. While in prison, he consorted with Johnny Sack to see if he could earn a place in his family. But upon his release, he was fooled by Lupertazzi. His shaky loyalty led to his being an outcast in his own family. Gualtieri and Moltisanti reconciled after the murder of a waiter who complained about the tips Moltisanti had left him. And Soprano helped ensure Lamanna was returned to jail to help Gualtieri's landscape company. Before 2007, Gualtieri was appointed an underboss, and Moltisanti took over his old crew. Gualtieri, along with Carrie DiBartolo, was involved in a $1 million heist and ripped off the Colombians, and later became Vito Spatafor's rival after it turned out Vito was a sausage lover. Later, Soprano begins noticing that Gualtieri is hiding information from him, especially a joke that Ralph Cifaretto uttered about Johnny Sack's wife, which later almost resulted in Ralph's death. With Carlo Gervasi's vanishing, Tony offers Paulie the helm of the April crew. Paulie initially refuses, claiming that the crew is cursed, but takes the offer when Tony says that he will otherwise offer the position to Patsy. After Tony Soprano's possible death, Paulie Gualtieri's fate is wrapped in mystery. However, given his courage, skill, and background in Mafia life, we can assume that Paulie Gualtieri could be a key player in the newly formed Mafia establishment. By the way, what do you think is the future of Paulie? Sadly, Sirico passed away in a Fort Lauderdale nursing home on July 8, 2022, at the age of 79. No official cause of death has been announced, but he was diagnosed with dementia several years before his death. Rest in peace, mafioso. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to subscribe to Vano VHS and hit the like button. And if you want to show some love to Vano VHS, you can now buy us a coffee. Check out the link on your screens.